The issue of trust and lack of it is a common topic in our current culture. And workplace trust with remote employees has become a huge point of discussion. First, however, we must understand what trust really is. Then we can explore the unique challenge of building and maintaining trust in relationships with those who work remotely. Trust is rarely all or nothing, although we talk like it is. I don't trust her. In actuality, trust is situation specific. We trust someone to be able to do a specific task. For example, if you were to trust me to fix your car, your trust would be misplaced because I have virtually no mechanical abilities. Understanding that trust is situation specific is important because we then have a pathway to build or rebuild low levels of trust. It's important to reframe both our thinking and our speech to more clearly delineate what we currently are unwilling to trust the other person to do. Besides recognizing that trust is situation specific, it's helpful to grasp the 3 C's of trust: competence, consistency, and character. The first is competence. If a person or business doesn't have the ability to do the task you desire, it's foolish to trust them to do so. Having the knowledge, ability, and capacity to complete a task is at the foundation of trust. Second is consistency. A person may have the competence to complete the task, but if their products are of inconsistent quality, if they can't consistently get the task done on time, or if they just don't show up, their competence doesn't do you much good. The third C is character. In this context, character primarily refers to honesty, integrity, and the belief that the other person is considerate of your needs as well as their own. Trust in business dealings often relies on the party's willingness to trust that the information being given is true, that the other party is not just wanting to make a fast buck, and that they will deliver the goods or services they're promising. An important question is, how do individuals come to mistrust others? An examination of remote work relationships leads to some sources. First, mistrust can develop through a lack of information communicated or not communicated clearly. How often do you hear someone say, "Oh, I didn't realize that," or, "Well, if I would have known that, I would have reacted differently"? In situations where there's not been a long-standing trusting relationship, the misinterpretation of motives can easily occur. Many times people mistrust others because they think the person is acting primarily from self-interest. Sometimes relationships are strained when one person's expectations are not met by another's actions. If a friend volunteers to help decorate the banquet room for a fundraising event, and the quality of the work is below your expectations, tension can arise. This often comes from expectations not being clearly communicated. Finally, questions arise about trustworthiness because of the lack of proximity. A supervisor may question a remote employee's work ethic because they have less ability to directly observe their behavior. Here are some steps to take if you're having difficulty trusting someone else. First, try to specify what action you're having trouble trusting them with. What have they done or not done to cause this? Second, which of the 3 C's, competence, consistency, and character, is related to your lack of trust in this situation? Third, determine what they could do that would shore up your trust of them in the situation. Or are there certain conditions under which you would be willing to trust them? For example, under someone's supervision or within certain financial parameters. Conversely, if someone is having difficulty trusting you, ask them directly if there's something that you've done that's undermined their trust of you. If so, take appropriate actions, apologizing or making reparations to address their concern. Next, share your desire to be trusted by them and affirm your willingness to do what is required to earn or rebuild their trust. Finally, be willing to take initial actions suggested to demonstrate your trustworthiness. Be sure to follow through and make evident your competence, consistency, and character, and that you are considering their interests as well as your own. Trust in relationships is foundational to working together successfully. Use these tips to build deeper trust with those you work with, and your workplace relationships will flourish.